Cthulhu Jack.
Crawling from the darkness onto my YouTube recommends, I caught this lightning in a bottle combination film noir / crime caper.
Who are you afraid of?
I can't talk, I can't.
That had this Jack screaming in the end. I'm talking about The Enforcer from 1951. So this will be a 0 to light spoiler review. What starts out as a film directed by Bridgeton Windust dipping into the low angles, heavy mood, and long shadows.
He'll die, he's got to die, and you're gonna kill him.
I can't. Nobody can. He ain't human.
That even startles Bogey. We're introduced to Rico, played by tough guy heavyweight Ted DeCorsia.
Take it easy, Rico. Relax, Rico.
Whose neck collar at times is struggling to keep his lid from popping.
A murder is a contract. A hit is the sucker that gets killed. Remember those words and use them.
He's a fallen rat who's pointing the finger at Mendoza.
He won't even know the guy, so how can the cops find him?
A new breed of criminal who's emerged.
He got out. He's coming to kill me. He got out.
The Hitman.
This is my first contract.
Loosely based on the Murder Inc. trials which appeared in the press at the time, later to come out in a best-selling book by Burton Turkus, the DA who prosecuted the baddies. His book landed on the stands around the same time of the film's release.
Listen, Ferguson, I made up my mind. I'm gonna testify. You gotta get yourself a new boy.
Humphrey Bogart's character, D.A. Ferguson, is based on Turkus.
Please, Mr. Ferguson, don't make me take the stand.
For what I've got on you, Rico, I could burn you a dozen times.
This was the first time the public learned of the terms contract and hit.
Then, even if the cops tap a phone, they don't know what you're talking about.
A small army of cops, the captain and Ferguson must keep Rico alive to testify against Mendoza, who's charged with multiple counts of homicide.
Here's the list of victims we know so far.
In Rico's case, he's a witness to Mendoza's first kill, which caused the spiral to unravel. Rico becomes an increased head case as the night wears on like a coffin overcoat.
He's smiling at me.
Boy, that scene gave me chills. Knocking out his babysitter, Rico squeezes out the window, aimed at freedom.
You can't make it, Rico. You can't make it, it's too far.
In the end, fate slips in. Since Ferguson's eyewitness has kissed the pavement, he's looking at case dismissed.
It's crazy. We had it all sewed up. It's crazy.
On a gig that he's been pulling on for 4 years.
Mr. Mayor, if you want my resignation, you can have it. That'll give you something to say.
It wasn't his fault,
Shut up, Whitlow. If you want a goat, I'm it.
I don't want a goat, I want a conviction.
As they keep the lower lights burning, he and Captain Nelson are inexhaustibly inseparable.
You ever have a tune run through your head and you can't remember the words?
What are you getting at?
This is where we begin our series of flashbacks within flashbacks from various characters' point of views. I'm not certain where director Windust exactly bowed out, and only upon reading afterwards, I didn't even realize there was another director who picked up the reins. According to IMDb, after several days of filming, director Windust fell seriously ill and was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Bogart asked his old friend, Rule Walsh, to come in and shoot the picture until Windust recovered. Unfortunately, Windust was more seriously ill than realized, and his recovery took several months, during which Walsh finished the film. However, Walsh refused to take screen credit for it, saying that the picture was Windust's big break, and he wasn't going to take it away from him. I thought this was quite the gentleman move on Walsh's part.
That's how we get big. Once you do a favor like that for a man, he's in your hands forever. He's like a bank.
With that, the film does steer more into Walsh's style, which is a mix of procedural to documentary feel, creating a riveting second and third act.
Are you drunk? I killed my girl.
This is where a distraught Duke Malloy comes in, blabbering about offing his girl, eventually finding the grave with no body.
I loved her and I killed her. I want to die.
Duke is sent to the slammer, only to end up swinging. The pace is quickened further when they get a tip on an associate of Duke's by the name of Philadelphia, who at the start is chilling at the local asylum.
Why did Duke Malloy kill his girl?
Our duo finally comes in contact with Zero Mostel, who plays Big Babe.
This was Smiley's. He carried an ice pick, too. Do all your friends carry ice picks?
Take it away. I don't want to see it.
Pulling on his emotional threads, he snaps, dropping the dime on everyone, including Rico. Following him to where he started getting tangled in this nest.
Anybody else there?
We all hang out there.
Duke, too?
Sure, that's how I got in. Duke was the one who took me there.
We find Rico taking guff from nobody.
Makes it easy for the cops to identify if they grab you.
He's just the middleman handing out contracts to this spunky bunch of degenerates.
Where's it got to be done? Can't they handle it?
There's more chiseled mugs in this movie than at the Muggenheim Museum. Eyewitnesses become slim pickings.
I did my job. He should have done his. I showed him the hit. I took him to see her.
Until that one clue finally turns everything right side of Rain.
Reported missing 2 years ago by his daughter, Angela Vetto.
This Jack was so tuned in, I found myself shouting back at Bogey the clue.
Maybe this is a face that'll haunt you. Maybe these are the eyes that'll drive you crazy.
Just mere seconds before he figured it out. With the clock ticking and the gears locking in place, timed with extra muscle called in for one Hail Mary pass.
We got a contract in Port Morris. A rush job right from the head man.
Let's just say, until next time.
What are you looking at?
Thank you to our YouTube members and everyone out there for your continued support. And Hail Cthulhu!